Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Oh. What are you seeing now? Hey, give me 1 minute and let some more people come on, and I'm trying to start this Periscope thing. And when you come on, speak, so I know you're on. I see people some type of way joining, but they don't tell me who's joining. Hello, hello, hello. It's Thursday, and we are back at Talk the Talk Thursday. We're live. Back at it. What the hell is foolish on here? We are live. Hello, hello, hello. I don't know. I really have a hard time telling when people get on here. So maybe I just need to get on here and start talking. I was out last Thursday. I missed doing a Talk the Talk Thursday last week just because I was out at a conference. So I was out of town. I was just too tired to even. I was just tired. It was good, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. I think I may end up doing something about it, talking about my experience there. But it was amazing, amazing, life altering. I think that's the right words to say, is life altering. And so I picked up some good things. I finally see people coming on, so good. What I was saying was I missed last Thursday just because I was out of town at a conference, and I was a little Thursday I had just got there, but I was still just a little tired from the traveling and stuff. So this is what I wanted to do for this for today, since it's the last Thursday in October. And since we missed last week, I kind of just wanted to have an open discussion. I think we did it maybe once last month, where we just kind of opened the floor to talk about whatever and just have moments of transparency. So I did another blog that was a moment of transparency. And y'all let me know if y'all can hear me, because I really feel like I'm whispering, but I don't want to be like over loud. But just let me know if you can hear me. But I did a blog about a moment of transparency, and it was just a spin-off of another blog that I did entitled Let God Be God. And so in this season of life, I don't know, y'all, like I've literally am learning learning to let God be God. It sounds crazy just to keep saying it over and over, but it has to sink into our minds sometimes that we are not God. We are, you know, a lot of people want to call us gods, but there is a supreme, there is a sovereign one, there is one that is high and mighty. And I have learned to trust him, or learning to trust him. The blog of Moment of Transparency was really just talking about how once you get off the throne of your own heart and your own life and trying to do things the way you want them done, or when you want them done, or pretty much, hey, Kimberly, thank you for joining. When you really just sit back and let him take course, let him do what he's been trying to do all along, which was to lead and guide you, then you start to really realize, or let me not just put this on everybody. I started to realize that I wasn't as invincible as I thought I was. I was trying to pretty much keep myself from being hurt, keep myself from failing, trying to keep myself in the right direction. Like I was literally trying to do these things on my own, just because, you know, that's what we're taught. We're taught to do this, do that, or whatever. We have like list of rules and guidelines that we have to go by. But I don't think we ever really tell people or teach people or lead them in the way of how we should allow them to follow God, to allow him to do some things, how we should wait on his time. And if we say those things, we really don't disciple them into that, or show them the way, or just give them more context to it. We just tell them stuff and just let them keep on going. So what I had been doing was pretty much just trying to find my own way. Or trying to make things work. So that's what it was. That's what that blog was about, was just letting God be God, and just realizing that I don't have to run from or have to put up a face. You know how you ask somebody how they're doing and they're like, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. Yeah, sometimes you're not feeling blessed and highly favored, and we have to learn how to really, hey, Pastor Ross, glad you joined me. We have to learn how to allow things. And matter of fact, talking to Pastor Ross Sunday, I actually realized this, but we have to actually experience some hurt. We actually have to experience being making mistakes and failing at some things. We never will learn, we'll never grow if we don't. But my whole deal to it is that I can't see God really do what he says he's going to do if I don't allow him to do it. If I continue to try to do it on my own, try to find ways where I can prevent certain things from happening, or be in control, or just not even just dismissing it. Not even, hey, Tequila, not even addressing it head on. Like sometimes we don't even address issues. We sweep them on the rug and say, oh, it's whatever. We just brush it off without even addressing. And I think we've been talking about that for the past couple of weeks, is how we don't address issues head on. Sometimes we don't address them because we don't know that they existed. And so once we get a name for things, once we really start calling things for what they are, then we are able to address them the way that we should. So this is what it was. This is what we're talking about. Well, what I wanted to just come out and be transparent about. Pretty much, I do want to hear your thoughts, if you read the blog, to hear your thoughts about being transparent, and how you all may have handled some issues of letting God just really transform your life, or how God took you through different situations when you were experiencing some things that you just didn't want to experience, some things that aren't quite pleasant. You know, maybe you had a falling out with a friend, and you felt betrayed. I know so crazy is when I was writing a blog, I really realized like 3-4 years ago that I wrote almost the same exact blog called Moment of Transparency, The Broken Places. I was like, my goodness, have I not learned my lesson yet? I wrote this blog 3 years ago. But I mean, hey, that's why I said today, hey Chantal, that's why I said today that it's a life lifetime course of being enrolled in Let God Be God 101. This is not something that you can just do. Hey sis, hey Indy, we just can't do just for a few months and then forget all about it. Like literally with every situation we have to do it. Dang, I lost my thought. I don't know how. Okay, so pretty much, you know, I was saying friend betrayal. So if you had a friend to betray you, you know, how do you handle those situations and experience that hurt? Like, I really believe that God wants us to experience that, like literally go through it, let the human part of you hurt, because then you really realize how much you need him. You really realize, and you're able to see him work. Like then your spirit man is strengthened. Your spirit man is able to override what your emotions are feeling like. And that's how we should live. Like we should live in the spirit, walk by the spirit. But we're not able to do that if we continue to put up a facade, if we continue to allow our flesh to take over. I mean, I don't know. So how do you do it? How do you go through betrayal? How do you go through people talking about you and really, or how do you go through grief? How do you go through someone dying? You know how people say, oh, you know, they in a better place. Yeah, they in a better place, but hey, it still hurt. They gone. Like they were there for a number of years and times with you. You have moments, and there's nothing that you just can't sweep under the rug, but yet and still we have to learn how to let God be God. And that's one side of it. And then another thing is, I actually just thought about it earlier, was we have to let God be God and not get ahead of him. Not get ahead of him. Honestly, this weekend, one thing I shared with y'all is I lost my place of worship. I didn't even realize I had really lost my place of worship. Like I am a worshiper by nature, just a true worshiper. I love to worship, but some way, somehow I slipped out of that. And I found that this weekend, like literally I was on my face, I don't know, probably every session. My face is probably implemented on the face, on the floor of the Sears Center arena. But I mean, literally I found my place of worship again. And once I had time to really meditate on what took place this weekend, I really realized that's why I've been so anxious lately. Like I'm anxious to get to the future. I'm anxious for things to take place. I'm anxious to leave some places. Hallelujah, leave some places. I'm ready to leave some places, but I do have to wait on the timing, and then I also have to do the work. Like I have to let things unfold day by day, moment by moment, and I do have to do the work to get there. But I still got, I still got to have a heart of, Chantal, you know the struggle. I'm ready to leave. I still have to go through, be grateful, for where I am, and just have a heart of thankfulness. I got to, like, y'all, we got to. I don't know, maybe y'all going through that. We have to just have a grateful heart and just understand where we are. It's not where we're going to always be, but there are some things that we need to learn. And it's just as fast as God wants to get us out of there, as we want to get out there, God wants us to, but he knows best. He has a plan that we should follow, So y'all can tell me some things. That's a part of my moment of transparency. Like I said, this is open discussion. And so if you all have any thoughts about anything I just said, or if y'all have any situations that's bothering you, I don't know, we may not have no answers for them, but we can find answers or we can all just come together and do something. But that's my moment of transparency, just really experiencing life and not trying to make it what I think it should be, but allowing it to get there. Just let it be authentic and genuine. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Oh no, let me pull this thing. Trusting again. Yeah, trusting. Oh yeah, and my mom did comment on the she commented on the blog about Let me actually pull it up and see what she said, because that was a good point. Oh, she said that when you have to trust God on something and look like he is not going to come through, but at that point you have to trust him with everything that is in you, with your whole being, and that is where he wants us. That trust should become common, a first reaction. And I think that speaks to what we have been talking about a couple of weeks ago about renewing our mind, and we actually had got into the talk about the subconscious, the unconscious, and all that, and how our first reactions normally typically come from what we have subconsciously, our subconscious behavior, our behavior patterns and stuff like that. And so our first reaction is not to fully trust wholeheartedly. You know, sometimes we really think that we rely on God to a certain extent. Sometimes we even think that he will do it. Like, we understand that he will do things. We've seen him do it. And then sometimes we get to the point where we don't really believe he'll do it for us. That's one end of the spectrum. But then you also get to the point where you start relying, like you're on a job, and you rely on your job so much as your source. Like, you lose sight of the fact that God is your source, and your job is maybe like your resource, but God is the source. So he can choose to take care of you in a way he wants to, whether that job lets you go, whether you quit and do something else. He can take care of you in the way it goes, but that's just how he chooses to do it at that moment in time. And then, you think about the trust, and do we solely trust him without conditions or limitations? Like, a lot of us sometimes have conditions and limitations, and I don't think you ever realize it. And again, this is why you have to let him be God, and you have to experience these things, because you don't realize some of these things that you go through until, or that you have in you. Like, you don't realize that you're limiting him, or you have conditions and stipulations until you are faced with something. So these things that you're being faced with is kind of pretty much to prove to you, or show to you that, hey, there's something there that is getting in the way. And so, do you trust? Like, do we literally trust him 100%? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was like, I think I told Pastor Ross this Sunday, I was like, so I have to get to the point where I trust God with my heart. And even if that means he tells me to be with someone, sit up under someone, befriend someone, go to some job, interact with some people, knowing down the road that they're going to say something that ticks me off, something that hurts me, something that, whatever, betrays me, whatever it is, like, knowing that down the road they will I still trust him? Like, I think you told me to go there. Well, yeah, you did, but you still have to experience some stuff. But do you still trust him to mend you? Do you trust him to help you forgive them? Like, how do you hurt and still forgive somebody? Like, these are things that we literally have to ask ourselves, or have to examine. I think we have, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I can't do nothing but laugh, because I don't know. That's when we have to trust God and his process for us. We do. We don't put our full trust in him until we don't know what else to do. And that's true. Like, sometimes we have to get to a stopping point, and to a breaking, and that's the part of being broken. You get to that point and you're like, okay, God, ain't nothing else. And after a while, I think we may have to get to that. And then after a while, you should get to the point where you trust him without even having to get to a breaking point. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you have to be broken 1 or 2 times, but then, matter of fact, I think one of our speakers talked about this this week. Like, you get to the point where you just come broken before him. Like, okay, look, I'm finna break myself. You ain't got to do it. Ain't nobody else got to do it. But listen, my heart is humble. I am like, listen, come on, Lord, help me out, because I need you. We don't get to choose the outcome of the things he tells us to do. Yeah, we don't. We don't get to choose the outcome of them. And I think we want to. I think we have things in mind that we go into things with a plan. We go into things with dang, we still have conditions and limitations. Like we still have a whole, and you should plan. You know, we do plan. I'm trying to think of the proverb scripture. Goodness gracious. But we should plan some things. But when it doesn't turn out, you know what I'm saying, the detailed way that we expected it to, then, I mean, okay, be okay with that and move on. Move on to the next thing, because true enough, it will turn out far better than you could have even imagined or you could have even planned it to do. And that's what we have to understand. Like, do we think or realize that God really has our best interest at heart? You know, just this is the questions okay, God is God, first of all, right? Right. You're not God, right? Right. So God has our best interest at heart, right? Right. Like we have to go through these little step-by-step things and talk ourselves into believing, like, listen, I'm going to trust him no matter what. Like, no matter what comes, no matter what goes, no matter who comes, no matter who goes. Like, he's never going to leave us. He's never going to forsake us. We quote these things, but how much do we believe them? And I'm always like, later, I've been big on saying we have a full head knowledge of everything. Like, we have head knowledge out the woozah, but has it gotten to our hearts? Has it gotten to the essence of our being? Like, has it gotten to the very DNA of us, to the point that our first reaction does become trusting him? It does become seeking him. And that's another thing. Like, even when these things happen, some of us do experience it, the hurt. Let's not, I was just talking about me in general. Some of us do acknowledge the fact that we failed and we make mistakes. But what do you run to after then? Like, do you run to somebody else and try to fix it? Do you seek? That's how some people get into alcoholism. That's how some people get into thievery. That's how some people get, like, what do you run to? What you should be running back to God, and that's what he wants. And that's the point that we need to get to. So one, some people don't experience the hurt. Like, they just get nonchalant with it. They just get a hardened heart. They just try to be so protective to the fact that, okay, thank you, Tawana. We get to the fact where we try to, protect ourselves, that we set up a wall where God can't even get in. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can get in. Like, let's be honest, he can get in, but he wants us to welcome him in. But we put up this wall and we get a hardened heart and all this good stuff because we're not really experiencing things. But then there are some of us, like we said, like I was just saying, like, we literally experience it, but we waddle in it too long. Like, we lose our hope, we lose our joy, we lose our faith. Like, we just believe he's abandoned us. We believe all these things, but are we turning back to him? So that's it. Yeah, these are the thoughts that go through my mind, or have been going through my mind lately. That's it. This is it. This is the transparent moment. Welcome to my thought process. It's nice to have you join along. But yeah, so what I learned this weekend was I really need to get back to, and I have been, like, literally back to my place of worship, because I need to get his plan for my life. I need to get his time, just trusting him, just wholeheartedly. Like I say, I trust him, but how much do I trust him? In the beginning of October, like, God really was dealing with me. It was like, hey, this is going to be, that's why I put that post up right before I got on. But this is going to be a hard season. Like, honey child, you've been playing it safe all this time. But we're going to get to these hard questions. We're going to have these hard conversations. You're going to make some hard decisions. And I believe that is a time that a lot of us may be entering into. I know we've been talking about, it's been coming up I see in a lot of people's sermons, a lot of people's messages. This last quarter is really preparing us pretty much for next year, because we always claim, 2018, we want to go through the numbers, which there's truth to some of this, but we go through numbers 8, new beginnings, hallelujah, we finna embrace all this new stuff. But what you gonna do, to get to that? You know what I'm saying? It requires a different version of you. It requires a new level of in your mindset, a new mindset, a new thinking, a new preparation. Like, you have to prepare for this great and miraculous stuff that you are so claiming and want, and it will come. It will come, but are you gonna do the work before you get there, to really embrace all of it, to sustain the stuff that you're going to walk into? You have to sustain that stuff. You have to, that when you're betrayed, learn to forgive. Treat those who have betrayed you with kindness. Allow God to heal you through the process. That is true. When you are betrayed, learn to forgive. And I think a lot of us, when we try to forgive people, we act like we don't. It's like we forgive them, or we say we try to forgive, but we don't want to acknowledge what they did, or we feel like we're excusing what they did. Pretty much, I think that's what I was trying to get to. We're excusing it, and we're not really excusing it. It's just saying, hey, I release you of it. I'm releasing myself from it, pretty much. Listen, because I'm not going to be up here having you alter the way I feel, what I think about, my mood swings, my moods. You know what I'm saying? Like, you walk in and I'm just teed off. I'm not finna let you hold my future captive because I'm holding on to this bitterness. I'm holding on to this hatred. Like, you're really doing more damage to yourself, and pretty much almost 9 times out of 10, I don't know, 8 times out of 10, they going on with their life. Like, they are living their life, and you still stuck in. Ma'am, sir, please forgive and move on. Just move on. Move on. The quicker you can move on, the quicker you can stop replaying things in your mind, the better off your life will be. And some of this stuff is easier said than done. Quite honestly, we're not going to sit here and act like, we just say this and we're going to do it automatically. It's easier said than done, but it can be done. And I think we get to the point where, and I actually said that to my mom earlier when she had commented on that. But, we make excuses. Like, we say, well, this is the way I am. This is just the way I am. Okay, that's the way you are, but you need to change it real quick. Like, it's time that we grow up. It's time that we mature. It's time that we just really go to another level. Like, okay, that's the way you are. I hear you, but you shouldn't stay like that. Like, who gave you the permission to stay like that? That ain't right. Y'all, I'm sorry, I done got. I just can't do nothing but laugh at it, because it's like we can't stay like that. Like, we don't call things for what they really are. We just start giving them fancy new names that make us feel better about stuff, and we just think everybody's supposed to deal with how we are. And time for a renewed mind and new actions. That is so true. Listen, that's what we've been talking about. If anybody on here know that we've been talking about this renewed mind thing, like, we got to renew our minds, because the way we've been behaving and thinking, this shit's off. I'm talking about myself too. This is how I got to this point to even be able to talk to y'all about it, because me, this girl right here, renewed mind. I'm having a renewed mind. So this is it, y'all. Y'all got anything? What y'all been doing with y'all life? How has your life been? What have you learned? What have y'all learned in the past week that y'all want to share with everybody that can help us along the way? If you had to sit down face to face with somebody and offer some advice or whatever, what would you say? For me, I have to let go of the old for the new. We can't have both. Yeah, let go of the old for the new. I think I just wrote a blog. I think the last other week, not last week, other week, about new level info. But it was talking about how like our new levels require a new us, but we have to be willing to let go of some things, even on that level. But at the same time, a lot of things that we went through, a lot of things that we learned, it should become us. Like it should be ingrained in us. So there's some things we should hold on to. There's some things we shouldn't hold on to. But those things that we hold on to should literally become ingrained in us, become a part of us to the point that we are able to move to another level. And I'm gonna actually pull it up because it made me think about how we, when you go to school and you get a degree, and that master's degree, that doctorate degree, it actually gets tacked onto your name. It gets tacked onto you. It's LaChandra Cook, MBA. Let's pray about that doctorate. But it's LaChandra Cook, MBA. But I've said, you mastered a level when a degree of revelation information becomes part of you. And that's what basically, happens when we're in school. You know what I'm saying? We get some new information, new revelation and stuff like that. And we have to really master it. And then it becomes a part of who we are. And so, yeah, we have to throw out the old. But there are some old things we really should allow to become us, or become a part of us, so we can help move on to the next level. I learned while you're waiting on God to turn things around, don't get out of position. Don't get out of position. Marissa, that's good. Because I just said, I don't know if you were on here when I said it, but I had got out of position. I literally got out of position. I got out of my worship, my position and my posture of worship. And it was showing in the way I was reacting to certain situations. I was getting anxious again. Like we always say, heed counsel, seek wise counsel. God is the counselor, but we have to trust his whole counsel, like the whole counsel, not just parts of it, but the whole counsel. And then my thing is, the whole counsel is even waiting on his timing. The whole counsel, like I have to even wait on his timing for things. And so, sorry, but that's don't get out of position. Don't get out of position. Whole counsel. We can't get out of position. We don't get any time. We don't get a break. We don't get a break in being Christ-like sons and daughters of Jesus, of God. We don't get a break. That's our position. And once we get out of that position, that's when our trust starts going down, our faith starts going down. That's when we start becoming more earthly aware of our surroundings and things that are happening. We don't live by means of the Spirit. You know what I'm saying? We don't aren't mindful of the things of the Spirit. We just really allow our issues and circumstances, the things that are going on in this earth, to really get to us and dictate us. Making carnal decisions. Thank you. That's definitely what I'm talking about. Just making carnal decisions. And we if you get out of position, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be making carnal decisions. And so We have to learn how to get past making carnal decisions. Even as a Christian, you make carnal decisions. Like, let's not get that. Let's get that understanding. Like, I don't know. They think Christians. They think Christians don't need deliverance, and I was one of these ones too. Christians don't need deliverance from things, and don't deal with demon issues. And then they also don't think you can make carnal decisions. Like, you can't act carnally. Like, you don't walk in the flesh. Like, that's the whole point of us renewing our mind, being told to renew our mind, being reminded not to conform to this world. It's not going to happen overnight. Like, this is literally a process that we have to walk out. And so we have to walk it out. We have to take it a day by day, step by step, moment by moment, second by second. We have to, we have to be mindful of things. And yeah, y'all, that's it. I'm glad that y'all came on and listened and joined in and conversated with me. I really can't think of anything else that I want to share. Unless either one of you have something else, I don't mind talking about it. This is what Talk to Talk Thursday. For those, I think I have some few new people, so I'll just tell y'all what happened and how we got to this point, just because we have some new people, and then I'll let y'all go. But I have been blogging a Soul Surrendered for 3 years, 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And I never let nobody know about it. Like, literally, when I first started, no one knew about it. Then maybe 3 or 4 months afterwards, I told a small group of people. And then months after that, I probably started posting blogs posting that I had put up a blog every now and then, but I never really publicized the fact that I had a blog, right? And so I've been doing more of that, of letting people know, I actually have a blog. And then I was challenged to go live. I was challenged to get from behind the screens and just typing out things to actually getting on and talking and going live, sharing with people my journey, sharing with people things that just be placed on my heart and stuff like that in my study time, quiet time, in my life in general. Like, we just cover a whole lot of stuff. And so that's what Talk to Talk Thursday is, and that's how it came about. Just me being challenged to get from behind just typing and really talking. It was facing my fears too. We talked about fear probably for a couple of weeks when I first started, just because it was me facing my fears. Like, I'm sociable. I love to talk to people, but I'm not a conversation starter. I'm actually, but once I get to know you, I talk your ear off probably, But this is me facing my fears. I think I love it actually now. I actually missed doing it last week. So we just kept going after then. So I'm glad y'all joined me. This is how we got to this point. Normally I have more of a detailed thing that I want to talk about. And this one was still kind of detailed, but it was really supposed to be open for a discussion. Just whatever came about, we was going to talk about. So this is it. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you all for joining. Oh my God. I done missed a whole heap of comments, y'all. Bear with me 1 minute. I don't even know what to talk about. Oh, here we go. Battling our flesh and have to die daily. Yeah. Take up his cross daily. Thank you for boldly being here. I look forward. Thank you. I'm so glad you came. I will. Marissa, come on now. If I can do it, you can do it. Make sure you tell me when you start so I can be on there to support you. Hey, Kayla. I miss y'all. Hey, Indy, I need to see y'all. Journal, then blog. Well, yeah, you're right, Mama. I have been journaling for quite a while, and then I started blogging. I'm totally supposed to be consistent going live on. These people that's supposed to be going live, if I can do it, We finna consistently get on it. And y'all just let me know when y'all start so I can join y'all. Go live. Tell them, Pastor Ross, go live. We're gonna be each other's support system. Because this thing is serious. Like, then for the first couple of weeks, y'all, literally, I was sitting here looking at myself like, I am talking to myself. Like, I want to see y'all face. I don't want to just sit here. I feel like I'm talking to myself, but. And then there's another thing, y'all. Okay, I know we're kind of getting off subject. Let me get off Periscope. Hold on. I don't know how to do this. See? And then there's another thing. Y'all put me on technology that I don't even know how to work it. Oh, what was I saying? I forgot. Oh, talking to y'all face to face. Just feel like I was talking to myself. I don't forgot, y'all. My bad. I shouldn't have been trying to do two things at one time. Because I don't forgot now. We're going to be each other's support system. Whatever. When y'all go live, let me know. I was trying to, and the reason why I do this is because I have some people that really want to see the Talk Thursday, and they have Periscope, but they don't have Facebook. And so I just think I'm gonna end up sticking to Facebook and then just still putting it on YouTube or whatever so they can see it. But yeah, this is a struggle. This going live thing is very interesting. It will teach you a lot about yourself. Especially if you go back and listen to it. Like, I didn't want to listen to it because I hate saying this now, but I didn't like how I sounded. I can't stand it, thinking now this is how God made me and this is how he made me sound, but I want to listen to myself sounding all country, like I was saying some words that were just country. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. Oh Lord, yeah, I really done got the sillies out of me because this is real deal. I really was trying to tell y'all something earlier and I forgot. I can't even remember what I was trying to say. Yeah, let God be God. That's all I can say. Let God be God, and just let him work these things out for us and take us through these changes. And we're going to be so thankful and shout on the other side of it. On the other side of it, we will shout through it. So I love y'all though, for real. And I will be back. I'll see y'all next Thursday. And thank y'all for joining me and making this a fun moment. Love y'all. Bye.